Hello my friends, welcome to lesson 6, and in this lesson today we're going to learn to play with a first finger on the violin, and by the end of this lesson you will be able to make up your own tune using this note, which is called B. Let's get started from the basics, and I'm having a pen ready and I'm going to write a line where my index finger is attached to my hand, and I call this line my finger line. And in order for you to develop a good left hand position right from the word go, this line is going to be quite important. I'm highlighting it on my finger so that we can very easily see it when we place our hand on the violin. So let's get the violin and I'll show you how. Now this finger line indicates the position next to the E string. And when I have my violin up on my shoulder, I'm going to make sure that this line is at the beginning of the string and it very nearly touches the E string. Can you see that? My left thumb is going to be peeking just over the edge of the fingerboard by about half a nail. Can you see my thumb is sticking up, but my thumb is slightly up from my finger line, so it's slightly closer to my face compared with the finger line. Can you see? Now, most people want to play like that, so make a point of moving your thumb slightly. So we've got our finger line in place, we've got our thumb in place, and now we want to make sure that we push your wrist out like that. So you want to avoid playing like this, and you make your wrist straighter so that your wrist here is straight, and you've got a space the size of an orange or a large tennis ball underneath the neck of the violin right here. Now in a moment we're going to place the first finger on the A string. First of all, we need to think about how far to curl that finger. And when I'm placing my index finger and I'm showing you like this, I want to bend my index finger until it can't go any further. So I've got no space here, you see. I sometimes see people play like this and then the curve is way too big. So you want to really squeeze that finger together so you've got no space there, you see? I can't stick anything in between there. So that looks like this when we place our finger on the violin. I'm going to bend my index finger completely, can you see? And then I place my index finger on the A string, making sure that my nail is not touching the string. I'm feeling it just slightly, but if you feel that it's just your nail that presses the string down, cut your nail a little bit shorter so that you play on the padded area of your fingertip. Now we're going to practice that a few times. Note also how my other fingers are hovering above. They're not here, but they're hovering above the fingerboard. So up and down and up and down. Now this new note that we're going to learn today is called B. It is one whole tone higher than the open A string. And when I'm going to play it in a second, I'm going to pick up my bow. We're going to play an A first and we'll work out the pitch of the B from there. So let's get your bow. So I'm positioning my left hand first of all. So I'm checking my finger line again. I'm checking my thumb again. And I'm also making sure that I've got this imaginary space for my large orange there on my tennis ball. Now I'm going to play a long A first. Then I'm stopping the bow and placing my finger. Stop the bow, take your finger away, and then we're practicing that again. Stop the bow, place your finger. And again, stop the bow, lift your finger off. Stop the bow, place your finger. Now if your note is sounding like this, oh, it's a little bit too close to your face. So you need to move all of this back a little bit. And it should sound like this. Stop the bow. If your finger is sounding like this, it means that your finger has gone a little bit too far back, too far that way. So you need to make sure that your finger line is level with the E string and your finger comes up a little bit. And my finger is placed about 1 centimetre from the beginning of the string. Can you see that? Now at first, you're going to have to experiment a little bit where exactly your finger is going to go, because obviously it depends on the width of your fingertip exactly where it goes. And you gauge that by the sound that you make. So if the sound is good and it sounds like my B, you're great. If the sound is not good, you're going to have to experiment a little bit and move your finger up and down to find the exact spot, the sweet spot where it's perfectly in tune. And as you practice, you get better at that. You first of all get better at hearing exactly what is in tune, but you also obviously get better at placing your finger. So you practice this a couple of times, a couple of days in a row, because most people need a couple of days to find that sweet spot, you see. Shall we practice it again? So first I'm checking my finger line, then I'm checking my thumb, then I'm checking my tennis ball. And once I've got all of that in place, I'm checking that all my fingers are hovering above the fingerboard. Then I'm going to play very slowly. First along A. Stop the bow. Place your finger. Stop the bow. Take your finger away. Stop the bow. Place your finger. Stop the bow. Finger off. Last time. Awesome. Now when you've practiced this, you can start to experiment with making up your own tune. And I'll give you an example. And this is where the fun begins. You can play the tunes that you like. So you might go... And somebody else might play something different. But what connects every single tune that you might make up is that you always start with this finger line, thumb and tennis ball positioning of your left hand. So you're never starting just out of the blue like that, but you always take a moment to check that position of your left hand, because it's going to be the key to your success. So happy playing, and please do tell us about how you're getting on by writing in the comment section down below this video. Thanks a lot and see you soon. Goodbye.